Oh, there you are. It's amazed to see you there. I was a little bit distracted, just reacting automatically like we professionals on radio do. Top of that, fans, you know, I mean, I've had nothing against from Giles and Cressida. Do you remember Giles and Cressida?
Oh, yes.
And they went, Giles and Cressida.
Yeah.
I don't know their real names, but, I mean, I said, write to me or give me a call at some stage at the BBC, because, you know, fine, I'll say hello and we'll arrange to go to the jazz again when I'm playing, or we'll have a drink or something, but nothing. I'm worried about my fans going... I mean, perhaps they didn't hear it, because, like, he's obviously tootling about with his computer in the corner, and then beep, 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 beep. Well, I'm on, he's not really listening. She's gone out, obviously, doing her pottery evening classes. Ceramics! Mr. W! I mean, come on, look, this work's a metaphor for a state of being... or not being. Well, you see, there's 2 less fans already. I mean, they... 3 more. I lost 3 more fans this morning.
Why?
I mean, you know what it's like? All these kids who hang about outside Radio 1. I walked past you the other day. You were talking to them. They were signing, you know. They were signing autographs. So it shows you how your standard is. No, I mean, in the papers the other week it said you claimed lowest from all the disc jockeys about how much you charge. Now, they sign autographs for you when you come out of the bed. No, seriously. You were signing autographs for them. And I walked through, and, you know, and they strangely enough, they stopped for me, because, you know, mainly if they've been on the telly in the summer, you know, and they say, oh, wow, if there's nobody more important about, they'll go for you. And they said, will you mention Debbie, Sarah and Becky? I said, no. No. I mean, don't you think kids get things too easy?
They've got a crush on you.
They think that, look, they get things too... I mean, when we were young, you and I, let's face it, we were both kids in the north. Kids down here don't understand it. You know what it's like. We didn't get things easy, did we?
No.
I mean, Janice, I bet you had an outside toilet.
I did.
Of course you had an outside toilet. You were lucky.
Times were bad.
Times were bad for you. We didn't get a toilet at all. We had to wait until we moved from the north into the great wide world. No wonder so many people left school at 15. You found this. I mean, I was staying on for university. I mean, people in the sixth form saying, teachers saying, Walters, what was Shakespeare trying to tell us through the character of Petronius here? I'm saying, anything, whatever you say. I was just desperate to get to university, get to the toilet. I mean, that's what it was like then. These kids nowadays, let's be quite honest, they know nothing. I had a similar situation, talking about my week, on Saturday of my week, at the station, at Victoria Station. I was waiting for my missus to get off a train because we were going to go to the theatre on Saturday, and I'm leaning on a sort of, you know, rail there, waiting with a pint of lager in my hand because you missed one of the trains. Group of youths get off. Youth comes over to me, says, oh, excuse me, says, you're John Walters, aren't you? And I said, yes, as a matter of fact, I am. And so he says, oh, I saw you on 8 days a week. I said, that's how you recognise it. Did you? Good. Yeah, I said, yeah, no, I'm not just like, you know, no, seriously, no, leave it out. He said, no, I'm not buttering you, no. He says, I really agreed. I thought you really put your finger... What? He said, I really agreed, you know, with what you said. I'm so glad to have seen you, because he said, I agreed with what you said about ZTT, you know, all this business, Paul Morley. And I agreed with what you said. And I thought, and then he suddenly said, Oh, actually, sorry, it was Tom Robinson. And he walked away. And I thought, what? If only Tom Robinson had been... But last week, look, seriously, last week, I was a fan, you know, because I went up to Sheffield. I mean, amazing to go anywhere for a gig. I went up to Sheffield because I'm going back 20 years now to when I was a sort of a fan. I thought, can I recreate that situation? To actually see, on one of her few appearances anywhere in the world, Astrid Gilberto. Now, you see, me and the missus, when we were courting 20-odd years ago, I mean, you know, that was I bought her that record, and her aunt sat on it, as it happens. But, I mean, like, you and Peter today, things are different. Obviously, music for you, you're going to say, years hence, you'll be saying, do you remember when we were courting? Always on the radio, the Snot Pickers from Hell. They were always on. Late night, they were always on. Oh, anarchy! Ah! But for us, that was the sort of music that we happened to play, you know, I mean... And nostalgia's a funny sort of thing. You see, like, when I was a kid, I mean, like, the Everly Brothers. nostalgia, but they can still do it. Do you know what I mean? They've had their own separate careers, but they still get together and do it. And I did notice that, a bit of BBC plug in here, that on BBC Two on Friday night, there's a big documentary, about 1.5 hours. I mean, obviously people who are into the music will be listening to Tommy, obviously, but I mean, you might record this, and if you've got a video. But the Everleys have got this big documentary, about their life and times and how. Now, it'll be interesting to see how they've survived, because I really found out about Miss Gilberto there. Yeah. I went all the way to Sheffield, paid me money to go to Sheffield. Anyway, let's just say that I got into Sheffield, and I thought, and wave of nostalgia. And it was nostalgia, because when we got to the hotel, I suddenly thought, I've been here before.
No.
Wasn't a dream, I thought, I've been here before. When I was in the group in the 60s, I turned up, what? Nostalgia. There it was. And I'd stayed there with the group. I could say, I thought, this is the entrance, there's the tree on the corner, and I've been here before. Because what had happened was, we were doing cabaret that week, and I was leaving the group to join the BBC, but, we were doing this week's cabaret, you see. And, as always happens, I mean, there were 3 or 4 fans, like the kids outside, who wanted everybody's autograph, and they wanted ours, you see. And these were about 3 rather weirdo girls, a big fat one and a thin one. They're a bit strange. They're all like cartoon characters. Nice enough girls. But I thought, well, thanks very much. We all signed autographs and cheerio. Driving back, and the roadie says, I've invited those girls back to the hotel, told them where we're staying. We all that meat and no potatoes. We. I said, what? You must be mad. Don't tell them where we're staying. They'll all come round the hotel. Next morning, I get up, I want to go off early because my mum and dad lived at Derby. I thought I'd go down for the day, come back for the gig at night. And as I walked to the corner, it was a corner where a road met, main road met this guy, I saw these 3 girls through the trees, I could just see them. They couldn't see me because they're coming through the trees. And I thought, and they'll get me. And they want my autograph. And all this sort of thing. And I leapt behind a tree. And I thought, what can I do? And I stood, and I thought, I'm a complete fool here. I'm standing behind this tree. And I thought, are they going? And this is true, perfectly true. They came round the corner, and I could hear them talking away, sort of Sheffield, where you might go. So as they got towards the tree, and I thought, nothing for it, I'll take the advantage here. And I leapt out from behind the tree and went, 3 different birds.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's true, actually. And they all went, jumped into the head.
Flasher.
I mean, luckily, it's before the Yorkshire Ripper. I'd have been locked up. And I had to walk. I had to go, excuse me. Suddenly a man jumps behind a tree. And I said, that's true. And I jumped on the bus and got down to the station. But, I mean, I thought, hello, this is the same hotel, But the interesting thing is, I don't know whether these people remembered, but same room. I only say it's the same room because every time I go to a hotel, it's the same room. I know that because they put me beside the dustbins. 6:30 in the morning, I'm just having a kip, a few pints of lager floating about. You think, night out, blah, blah, blah. And I like to get a bit of a sleep, feeling a bit dry, then suddenly... and you think, what's that? Just doze off. You think, how do they know?
It's true.
Any hotel, you stayed the same. Don't say to my missus that we keep staying in the same hotel rooms. Peter will go mad. But, I mean, it's true, isn't it? Wherever you go, everything, 6:30 in the morning. I'm sick of it. But, I mean, on the other hand, I did find Sheffield, as you do when you go to the north, it is always a lot friendly. I mean, I know what people say this, but it is true. Like here, it's a very ratty service always. There, I mean, we went to the Civic Hall or whatever it's called, the Central Hall, Great Hall or whatever it is, because we want to see Astrid Gilberto. And I said about seats, is the tickets. And I said, look, we've got these tickets, but, could we change them for seats near the front? Oh, she said, no, keep those. She said, they're nicer seats.
Oh.
And you think, actually, they were quite nice. And so we kept those. But I tell you what, right at the top of the bill, it was all being filmed for television and cripes knows what, but I mean, there was Edwin Hawkins Singers.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, I've saw them 10 years ago. I saw them over here, more than 10 years ago. After, happy day. About 30 strong. I mean, smashing. And I thought, let them come out, do the first half. What's happened? I've no idea what's happened. I mean, probably the Edwin Hawkins Singers of about 30 strong went to this revivalist gospel meeting or whatever these people go to. I've no idea. I mean, suddenly somebody steps forward and does all that. I want you, and I mean you, I don't mean Lady Di. I don't mean Boy George. I don't mean your brother. I don't mean your sister. I mean you. I don't mean your father. I don't mean your mother. I want you because I want you to demonstrate your faith. I mean your faith by walking. Don't run. Don't crawl. Just walk into this cage of fierce man-eating jungle lions. Now, I hear you say, not me, Lord. Not me. Not me to walk in this cage of lions, but I say unto you that you can walk into this... The point is, there's only 3 of them left now, that's all I'm saying. They walked out, it's 3, and I thought, my missus says, hello, the others will be out in a minute. I said, I think this is it. There's like Edwin Hawkins and 2 birds. And they come out, oh, happy day, anyway, cheerio. I mean, very nice sort of song, like, but Jerry Mulligan then came out and did a sort of jazz thing. I mean, Jerry Mulligan was a big star when I was a kid, you know what I mean? It was one more like baritone sax awards in the downbeat poll for just owning one. You know, more as many as Peel's got top DJs, but I mean, he's the only bloke who anybody knows who owns one. But you thought, tell you what's interesting, that jazz audience, they don't stand up. I mean, a lot of them are so old now, they can't stand up, so they don't make it. But you know what I mean? As soon as he comes out, big star, on the baritone sax, people just sit there. You know, I mean, like, we go to a rock gig and there's nobody, people stand up. And I'm quite glad that the jazz audience don't, but you've got to put up with a lot of that, because I do think, to be perfectly honest, I think jazz is about at it. You know what I mean? We pretend. And then I sort of play it for amusement, but only in the way that people own tropical fish. It's not what anything's about, you know. I mean, you might as well. But anyway, there it was. You know, and thank you very much. That's my old hit, cheerio. I know around the boozer. You know, you thought, poor old. You know. But anyway, eventually, Astrid Gilberto came on. What a disaster!
No.
I mean, you've not experienced this because you're too young. You see, I've seen like people like the Supremes, Louis Armstrong, all sorts of people. You know, people from one's past and one's youth. They come out, then they say they've been doing it for years, cabaret. So they rush out and say, "Hey, here's our latest hits." You know, and they do everything too fast and very quickly. And so she'd come out and say, "Hey, so you're waiting to hear bossa nova? Okay, tall and tan and young and lovely." And you think, "Oh dear," and you've gone all the way to Sheffield and it's a cabaret act. You know, and you wanted to have something very
special.
Like you and Peter and the snot pickers from hell. I mean, something that means something to you, Janice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it is. Anyway, and then she'd bring out this geezer, and she suddenly, I mean, she do it, value her own material. She'd suddenly turn around and say, like this Jobim, Giz Antonio Carlos Jobim, who wrote all the stuff, and she said, here is the son of this man, and he will sing some songs. You think, him? What's that? I'm coming to Sheffield, see him. And he comes, the sky, the sea, the sun, the sand. You think, get off! You know what I mean? And you think, what is this? They don't understand. Somebody should have tipped her off. You know, we don't want a cabaret act. You know, come out and do your old stuff. Anyway, next morning, after all the, it's due to you, family, we had to get up and take the train back. It's a very strange thing going on trains these days. I mean, you've got that one-man situation where you go and you want a cup of coffee and a cheese, whatever. There's one bloke doing it, big queue, you know, and you think, what's all this? You know, and you join the back of the queue, and you can hear the people at the front, nothing's prepared. I don't know why, whether it was this train. So many people say, can I have a cheese sandwich, please? Cheese sandwich? Hang on, I have to sow some corn. You know, and you think, we could be here for years on this thing.
It's true.
You know, and when you got to the front, and you think, and they're all waiting behind you, everybody goes, and they're all holding their breath, and you say, I'll have a cup of coffee, please. And I think, I'll have a cup of tea, please. And then you say, and a toasted cheese sandwich. Collapse. What? Anyway, and I tell you what you find now. You find out British Rail go mad. You know, and it's like flying or something. And as you're getting in towards, like, Euston or wherever it is, or King's Cross or somewhere, wherever we came in for, St Pancras, actually, I think it was. And the chap comes on and says, that was, doesn't it? You know, you've been travelling on the 9:15 from Sheffield, and, well, I hope you've enjoyed our friendly banter and the way we've been. I'd like to have seen you all, but I haven't had a chance to shake hands with you, every one of you. But do send me a Christmas card. I'll give you a call on Christmas Day, and I hope you've enjoyed travelling. But you think, well, what am I going to do? I'm not a hop to Sheffield. They don't get a train, same as everything else. But this geezer's a drop of homely fun. It's like I'm in Wilfred Pickles. Cast a coronation seat, and he's running the whole thing. By gum, let me shake you firmly by the... It's just shut up! But anyway, there he was, and we eventually got back home. But, I mean, I don't think I should spend that money to go on a nostalgia trip again. I'll tell you what's easier, and this sounds like as if I'm plugging in the BBC. I mean, I'm not, because, I mean, BBC Records, they often send you a record and say, BBC Records, here you are, we're sending you all a copy in case you want to play it. And it's like the Girl Guide sing-along, or the best of flipping Bagshot and Farnsworth, some light-end show you never heard of for years. And you think, well, it's very handy for the archives, I'm not going to play this. Suddenly, they've done this deal of some sort with the Walt Disney people. They're issuing all those things from when I was a kid. Now, for a lot of the young people listening, they're going to say, never heard of them. What's that? Some people are going to say, the first time I had a real nightmare or cried or whatever it was, watching... Look at the records. I mean, Janice, I mean, look, Pinocchio. Do you remember some of these?
Oh, his big
When
nose.
you wish upon a star... Hi, diddly-dee, an actor's life for me. A fiddly-pom. Snow White. Snow White was absolutely full of them. I'm wishing... for the one I love, with a smile and a song, whistle while you work. Hi-ho, hi-ho, someday my prince will come. But for the favourite for me, Bambi. And you went to that was, you really, but people were in tears at that, weren't they? Because, well, like when his mother died and all that sort of thing, and all the forest. I know you can see you're already a bit, but one day I hope that you and Peter might abandon the snot pickers from hell and turn to something like, well, Bambi, as I do. I go to the pub and stagger about a bit and think, love is a song that...
You all right? You okay? This is Benjamin Zephaniah and big boys don't make girls cry. You do. You're right.